my entire career as a marriage educator and mentor, helping women to really understand and appreciate their man and what he brings to the relationship. Even so, with all of my studies and all of my research and all of my teaching and writing on this subject, I'm going to tell you a secret. I am still learning about men. It just never ceases to amaze me. And that is, my husband in particular is teaching me all the time about men. I'm still learning about men, for instance, and sexuality. And I expect that kind of learning process to go on for a long, long time to come, because contrary to the cliches out there about women being so much more complicated sexual beings than men, which we talked about in our last video, is actually true to an extent. Let's say it this way. We're more complicated and intricate in so many ways, but men run deep. Research has found that men actually are very multilayered, and that they actually, especially when it comes to their physicality and sexuality, run very, very deep. Do you hear what I'm saying? This idea of being multi-layered, what that really means is that there are parts of his psyche that are rarely exposed and hardly ever really touched on or discussed or examined at all. And because of that, I think men in general don't really understand themselves. Like I said, we women don't really understand ourselves. I don't know if men really understand themselves, even when it comes to sex. For instance, did you know that, yes, he experiences sex as a legitimate physical need, just like hunger or thirst or sleep? Yes, I think you must know that already. But the vast majority of men have indicated to researchers that when they are feeling sexually fulfilled, it gives them it totally boosts or elevates their sense of worth overall, their confidence, if you will, in themselves. And that confidence spills out into every other aspect of his life. It affects every aspect of his life. It's the ripple effect. In fact, it even has an impact on his sense of spirituality, for instance. I mean, have you ever considered that? The truth is that men have a peculiar spectrum of needs that sex actually plays into. And as I said, these are little discussed, little explored, although there is quite a bit of research on this subject. Now, as women, we approach sex a little differently than our men do. And when I say we approach sex, I'm really talking about the way as women that we approach bonding. All right? So we approach bonding a little differently than men do. For him, that chemical explosion, if you will, of oxytocin that he gets during the sexual act is just paramount. It is so important to him and so singular for him. And he bonds with that explosion of oxytocin, that feel-good hormone, oxytocin. While we as women, we have oxytocin just flowing through our system. So just because, it's brought on by a million little acts. So we're bonding through that bonding chemical or hormone. We're bonding with him and with others many, many different ways, many, many different times a day. For him, it happens that really concentrated time and experience and moment in the sexual act. I think that's really interesting. And that's just one of a lot of things that we'll really delve into and discuss and learn about in the third conversation, in Conversations About Physical Intimacy for Wives and Their Husbands. Remember that one conversation, one topic in the course is broken down into 4 smaller parts, about 20 minutes long each. And you are going to listen either together or apart with your husband to these little 20-minute pieces or segments. And then you come together and discuss what you heard and what made you think about, how it made you feel, using the conversation prompts or conversation starters. They're questions that we provide to you through the course. They're very natural, not at all awkward. And you will use them however you want, or maybe even not use them, because what we're finding is that our students appreciate those to kind of get started. Then they're off to the races. And just the beginning, even one question can spawn this amazing, multiple actually, conversations on the subject and related subjects. And through that, husbands and wives are coming closer together and really starting to understand each other in a whole new way, in a whole new light, appreciate how gender and other aspects of their history and who they are and their upbringing, all that all gets talked about, and it draws us closer together in every other aspect of our relationship. So I think you're really going to enjoy, and our students have reported that they really enjoyed. In fact, here's one student who says, Dale, that's my husband, and he's a part of those conversations with me, right? Dale also brings credibility regarding a husband's or man's perspective. There's real comfort in this, and as most husbands never offer up this information, and Dale eloquently explains a husband or a man's needs. And I'm a student too in that conversation. I'm learning a lot from my own husband. So I hope that you'll really gain something from conversation 3 about a man's sexual needs. I'm sure you will.